Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. What we're going to be talking about today are 3 different things that I wish that I knew when I started out as a software engineer, right? I think this kind of advice is always helpful, and I figured today, I'd make a video and talk to you guys about some of these things just to help you guys out, especially if you're starting off as a software developer or you're just starting off, learning how to code. So if you enjoyed the video, as always, feel free to like the video, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate it. And let's get right into the video. So the first thing that I want to talk about is something that I definitely struggled with when I was starting out and, my first couple of internships and when I was in college as well. And that is to not get too attached to your code, right? Sometimes I would spend hours and hours working on a certain thing, on a certain project or a certain feature, and I would, be working on it for so long. It'd be very complex, and I would be very, proud of it. And by the end, when I was kind of done, it was something I was very proud of, and I was looking at this code as, something I worked very hard on. And so, when naturally someone else took a look at the code, I think it was either a code review or, someone just, came by and I was asked to see what I had been doing. They actually gave me a couple of pointers, and sometimes these pointers involve deleting huge parts of your code because maybe there's a better way to do it. And one of the mistakes that I made initially was I was super attached to my code, and I didn't really want to change it because I just spent like 5 hours working on it, so what was all that for, right? And what this kind of attitude does is that it prohibits you from learning. It stops you from learning and growing as a developer because you're too proud, kind of, right? What you got to do is, when advice comes your way, especially from someone more experienced than you, or like a senior engineer or a colleague of yours that you're working with, and they have a genuinely good idea and genuinely good advice that'll help you out and make your end product better, you need to be open to take that advice and to learn from it, right? The more you accept help from others, and especially from senior engineers, when you're working as a developer and senior engineers are talking to you and giving you advice, the more you absorb and the more you accept help, then the faster you're gonna grow and the more you're gonna learn. It took me a long time to understand that the code that I'm writing isn't amazing, it's not the best. No code is perfect. All code can be improved upon. And all you can really do is take, this information coming at you from several different directions and use it to the best of your ability and improve what you're doing. But if you're too proud and you think, your code is the best and you're not really open to any advice or to any constructive criticism, then you're never really going to improve. And this is genuinely something that I struggled with, especially when I was in college. We'd be working on these hard projects. I'd be committed to a certain solution, right? And I didn't want to switch directions because I just spent like a whole weekend working on something trying to make it work one way. And then when someone provides a better solution, in my head, instead of saying, oh, okay, that's better and I should work like that, sometimes I would be saying, oh, that's stupid, my way's better. And what I would end up doing is it would hurt me. It would hurt me in the long run, and it did not benefit me. So the first thing I want to tell you guys is don't get too attached to your code. Your code is not the best. It probably never will be. And what you instead have to do is understand that your code can always be improved upon, and to take advice and absorb advice from others when that opportunity comes, right? You gotta accept your faults and be willing to learn and, develop as a software engineer. This kind of quality is priceless in a software engineer. And, being humble is a lot better than, adopting the other attitude, right? So guys, don't get too attached to your code. It's not perfect. It probably never will be, and be open to changing it. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about is to not compare your own progress to others. Now, this is something that I kind of struggled with when I was in college and when I was just starting to learn how to code. Naturally, it's very difficult at the beginning. And what I would be doing is, as I was working on certain projects or certain assignments, it was coming to me, it was difficult. It took me a while to grasp certain topics. And then what I would be doing is I would see some of my colleagues, some of my classmates, getting it right away and, basically being like amazing coders right off the bat. And I would be asking myself, why am I so stupid that I can't understand this and these guys are grasping it so quickly, right? This is very dangerous. It's a very dangerous attitude to have, especially when you're starting out. I was lucky to have like a good amount of friends around me that, we could talk about this kind of thing, and everyone, basically accepted that we're all stupid and we're all learning together. But if you don't have that kind of support around you, and you adopt this attitude, right? Let's say that you're in a coding bootcamp and you don't know anyone, and then everyone else is learning super quick and you're not, right? This is a super dangerous attitude because it could lead to you giving up easier, right? And another thing that I had to understand is that sometimes I was comparing my progress after coding for 2 months. I was comparing my progress to someone who's been coding for years. You know what I mean? It takes a long time to develop this ability and to get better at coding, like it does for anything, not just coding, right? This doesn't apply just for coding. And instead of comparing myself to others, what I should have been doing and what I do now is I compare myself to where I was previously, and I accept that I made progress. And as long as you're getting better and improving over time, then that's what you should be focusing on. You should not be comparing yourself to another developer. The only way to actually get better is to just keep trying, not give up. It happens slowly, and day by day as you work, you'll slowly improve. In a year, 2 years down the road, you'll realize that you're so much of a better developer, and you'll stop comparing yourself to others naturally because you don't care anymore, right? So this is something that I really struggled with when I was starting out, and I wish someone had told me that. Luckily for me, like I said, me and my friends were all had pretty good attitudes about it, and it let us, improve as time went on. But guys, again, be positive and be confident and understand that it will come slow, but it will come, and you will get better over time. And now the last thing that I wanted to talk about is to not obsess over all the details. Right now, this applies to whether you're learning a certain language or whether you're working on a side project. What I basically mean is what you want to learn is what you need to learn, right? So if you have a certain goal, let's say to build an app, right? You don't have to go through and learn every single thing about Swift, and then every single thing about version control, and every single thing about APIs. You don't have to learn in so much detail. Don't focus on the details, right? What you want to focus is getting kind of a working project or an MVP. What you want to do, let's say if you're working on an app or something or a project, is you want to get it from start to finish and just get an MVP going. Build something that works, and don't focus on making it perfect. You can fill in the gaps later, and this is something that took me so long to understand. Again, when I was in college and we'd be working on certain assignments, I'd be, focusing on all the little details when all I had to do was kind of just get the information I needed, and then move on and finish an assignment, right? This kind of attitude is going to be very beneficial for you, as you get jobs and as you grow as developers, because if you can get good at only extracting the information you need and not wasting your time on everything else, you'll be able to be so much more productive. And if you can start building this habit as you're learning right now or early on into your career, it'll definitely be beneficial for you. So let me say it again, you don't have to be perfect. The language, you don't have to know every single thing about a language when you're learning it. It's gonna take you so long to learn. Learn the essentials and then move on. And the same thing applies to if you're building a certain project. Don't focus on making it the beautiful, final, polished product with an amazing UI and everything is perfect, there's no bugs at all. At first, what you wanna do is just get something that works and make it, push it to production and make it work, because a lot of people don't even get to that step. And if you can't get to that step, you're never gonna get to the point where you'll be able to finish a polished product, right? This is a much better way to learn, and it will keep you a lot more motivated because the odds of you actually completing a project are much higher. And it feels amazing to, start a project, see it to completion, finish it, and deploy it. You'll feel so great and you'll feel so confident in yourself that this kind of knowledge is priceless, and this kind of experience is priceless. Let's repeat it again, all right? Don't get too attached to your code. Don't compare your progress to others, and then don't obsess over every single little detail when you're learning or when you're working on a project. When I was just starting out, when I was in school, I wish there was someone to give me this kind of advice. So I hope you guys find value in this, and I really hope you enjoy this video. As always, if you do, subscribe to the channel, leave a like down below, and comment down below if you agree or if you disagree, or if you think there's anything else that I missed, or what you wish you told yourself when you were starting off on your coding journey, right? So as always, guys, I hope you enjoy the video. Take it easy and enjoy your coding. Peace out.